afternoon. My name is Chip Connolly. I'm the managing partner of Connolly, Bove, Lodge, and Hutz. We are here today to talk about a very important sector in the United States economy, consumer products. Consumer product spending on goods and services accounts for 2/3 of domestic fiscal spending and is the primary engine that drives future economic growth.
I think we've got a perfect storm of an opportunity in consumer products for two reasons. First, large consumer product companies are spending less on research than they've ever spent as a percentage of all research. The other is there's so much less venture capital in the space that we're seeing deals that used to be priced at $7 million pre or now at $2 million, and there's just a lot of less venture around the table.
A huge dynamic taking place in the consumer sector right now is the convergence between technology and consumer products, and that's new selling models, that's new ways of communicating with your customer base, that's new ways of acquiring customers, it's new ways of testing out your products before you invest a great deal into inventory. So that we've found the convergence with technology is really dynamically changing some of the business model aspects and consumer acquisition and interaction aspects of being a consumer business.
You know, I'll just throw a wrench in it. I'm still a believer that traditional paths to market are still out there. You look at a company like Skull Candy, you know, that went in and got distribution at a grassroots level with a product that was, you know, filling a need for a consumer, and went in there and built a name with a specific base of customer and then rolled out to mass distribution, I still think is a path. So for, you know, how many entrepreneurs are there in the audience, by the way? And how many consumer products entrepreneurs? Very cool. So I think, you know, as an entrepreneur, there's plenty of avenues open to you. New paths to market, old paths to market. But I'm still a big believer in blocking and tackling at the early stages. You know, there's no silver bullets.
You know, traditional businesses selling brick and mortar, having to get, you know, shelf space and then have enough sales to sort of demand an end cap positioning, it's just tough. It's tough. You're dealing with larger companies. Trying to do it at Walmart with, you know, walking out with your skin would be a feat in and of itself. So in the internet world, you know, it's social, you know, the ability to have a product, if it catches on, you know, gain mass adoption and mass scale is fascinating. You know, the internet penetration is such that you have flash shopping sites like Gilt, which is a consumer company, really don't have products, they sell their products. But you know, that has taken off like wildfire. It's frankly amazing. So the reach and scale of the internet today for both virtual as well as physical consumer products is fascinating.
If you're an entrepreneur in the consumer products category and you can stick it out and you can get the sales and you can, you know, find, you know, work through the distribution partners and really just kind of block and tackle your way to a sustainable entity, I mean, you're going to have a lot of opportunity in the next couple of years. You know, and raising capital is one of those challenges that you're going to have too now. But you know, like my colleague here said, opportunity is going to open up. It's been tough the past couple of years for a number of reasons. As, you know, I don't need to explain to you guys. But you know, we're going to see. I'm a big believer that if you put your head down and you grin and bear it, we're almost through it. And I think, you know, things are really going to open up.
What's interesting that's happening right now is, for instance, the e-commerce opportunities really to date have been brought to market really by technologists. And what's happening now is you have people that are operational experts in retailing, in merchandising, that are finally starting to embrace technology. So that what is happening is the foundation for the next generation of e-commerce. So if you look, and this has already started with Gilt.
We would not invest in anything unless we saw real traction at a Fortune 100 company in the traditional space. I think media and internet's a little different, but in the case, what excited us about Gannett Biotech was they had real traction at some very large companies, and I think that's good advice to entrepreneurs. You know, that there are these offices now, and most large companies have them, you know, called the Office of Open Innovation, and their job is to go outside and find promising technologies. And if you can get an evangelist in that office, and their salary is paid on looking for little companies, promising little technologies, and bringing them in and evaluating them. That's their job. So finally, the entrepreneurs got a friend at the Fortune 500. They didn't have a friend before this process.
I didn't know that.
And if you can gauge these folks, their job is to then take you to the business units and to get them to test and evaluate you. If you come out of that process, first they become a potential licensee or a buyer, but boy, it speaks volumes to somebody who wants to potentially put money in your company.
Having good IP protection is important, but often for a young company, the patents and so forth are only worth as much money as you're willing to spend defending them.
Anything that we look for and an entrepreneur should look for is how do you reduce friction, right? So we talked about various ways you can get mass market adoption, leveraging current technologies today. Matt talked about, certainly blocking and tackling, but, I would agree with the point of blocking and tackling if the entrepreneurs starting the company have a leg up in that space over someone else trying to develop a competing product. So if we look at a company and someone's developing a widget for a particular industry, if they came from that industry, sold into the industry, have a strong Rolodex in the industry, we're going to be more attracted to that entrepreneur. And frankly, an entrepreneur starting a company should look at themselves, look at their team, and say, hey, look, how are we going to compete? What do we have to bring to the table? Sort of that Rolodex is a big piece of it. But again, reducing friction to get something out there. That's the key. That's what we look for. That's what entrepreneurs should look for.
There's basic block and tackling that you can do to help yourself before you go talk to an investor. What's an investor going to talk about? Your team, your advisory board, your product, your business model, the competition, your intellectual property. Do your homework.
We're looking for our first round of financing, but utilizing social media to launch our product has been absolutely tremendous for us.
We have chefs, cooks, etc., utilizing our product, even videotaping how they're, what recipes they're using when they put vitamin spice with vitamin garlic or vitamin pepper, etc. So the social media definitely is a component. It's also worked out as people pass, as I said, pass recipes around. The way vitamin spice is working, it's the Philadelphia area has definitely, I believe, been a positive. I share the idea that it is a hub, but just being situated in one area when you're looking at national and global markets, you're going to have footprints or locations in other regions or other parts of the country. So, but Philadelphia certainly has been good to vitamin spice so far.
Initially filed a provisional patent around essentially everything that we were thinking about, right, to buy ourselves some time. Our market is moving so fast, in all honesty, I wouldn't know what to patent right now. Right? Literally, we change the product every other month, right, and to meet the needs of the market, right, and frankly, by the time I put pen to paper and was ready to send the patent document, it would have changed. So for a business like us, it's very cash flow sensitive. It's not something we've been focused on.
As soon as we realized that we had something, we went ahead and filed for a provisional patent, so that it sort of bought us some time to get organized to file the official patent. Since then, we've done that. That being said, we have not patented our product. Our product is much like you would think of a Coca-Cola with a secret sauce. The act of patenting our product would actually expose really what we see as our trade secret and make it a much easier to duplicate what we're doing. What we have patented, though, is, or we have applied for patents for our process of manufacturing the product, of putting it together, of storing it, shipping it, and keeping it suspended and healthy. And so there's critical pieces to the creation, storage, and shipping of our product that we have patented on a process basis, while we've maintained the product itself as a trade secret in order to actually protect the IP further. We actually felt that patenting the product itself would actually expose us further, not help us.
We knew Google was going to be launching a walletless technology where you can just purchase items through your mobile phone. So My Chinoki is all text messaging. What we created is a mobile payment application that allows you to purchase anything via text messaging.
We spent a lot of time, more time, trying to raise money than we did building product. And I think for us, what we realized is we were going to run into the same things over and over, which was hurdle, 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 in an industry that was moving extremely quickly, and frankly, we just needed to go out and prove it and do it on our own and point to it and say, here, look at the users. And that's what we did. So, and we've been extremely capital sensitive and have been very, very cautious about what we spend on, focusing on just the core needs. And now we're in a position, that's one that I'm lucky to be here. Obviously, we're in a position now where we do have users and we're able to hold on and we still have enough capital. But we're in a position now where we've established ourselves as a business, we have users, and now we're ready to roll the business out, and now's the time.
As an entrepreneur, I would say look for, if you want leverage and if you want growth and if you want to create value and you want to receive value in return in the form of market share and profits, then look for the industry bottlenecks. Look for ways that you can revolutionize your industry. And that is the business bottlenecks, you're going to get the incremental improvement, but the industry bottlenecks, you're going to get the exponential leverage. And that's where, whether it's technology or just a different process, it doesn't have to be, internet-based or electronic. It can just be just a different way of selling your product or service. But if you can figure out a way to solve an industry bottleneck, you can really massively change your industry and massively win.